fellow carbon-based bipeds. I am Scott Rose, and you are watching Explosions and Stuff. Today, for Top 10 on the 10th, I'll be covering my top 10 dystopian future movies. But first, a word from our sponsors. The rules of this top 10 list, well, they're pretty simple. Rule number 1, I have to have seen the movie. Obviously, if I haven't seen the movie, I can't put it on my top 10 list because I don't know what it's about. Rule number 2, the movie has to take place in a dystopian future. It can be a near future or it can be a distant future. It doesn't matter, it's got to be the future, and it has to be some sort of dystopia. Whether, crime's gotten out of hand or it's post-nuclear winter or some post-nuclear world or something. For some reason, it is a dystopia and it's in the future. Rule number 3, only one movie per franchise, and that's just to keep it all fair. And finally, rule number 4, this list is about the movies I find to be the most entertaining, not necessarily the best made. So there may be a lower quality movie on this list that I just happen to find more entertaining than one with greater production value. So it will be higher on the list if it is more entertaining. Coming in at number 10, we have Firepower. This is a movie that takes place in a futuristic California, where they've set up these areas where they're like crime-free zones. It's not so much that those areas are free of crime, it's just you can do your crimes and it's free of consequences. And they were originally designed to be like havens for victimless crimes like prostitution, and if someone wants to do drugs, they could go there and engage in those activities and not have to worry about being arrested for it or getting nabbed by the cops. But as a result, these areas became safe havens for criminals. People would go and commit a crime and then run to these crime-free zones areas and just be like, you can't touch me because I'm in an area where cops can't go and you can't arrest me. Nah, 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 nah. I mean, it's a great concept about how this one idea about how to protect all these people who are doing things that aren't hurting anybody but maybe themselves. They can go there and do these things. There's no reason why these things should be illegal, so they go to these areas where they're free to engage in these victimless crimes, and they just go and it gets overrun with other criminals, with like murderers and thieves who use that area as a safe haven so they can't be arrested. It's such a good movie. It's so much fun. The lead actor is a little stiff. I think the supporting actor of this movie should have been the lead, and the lead should have been the supporting. They should have swapped roles. But still, this movie is so much fun to watch. It's so entertaining, and that's why Firepower comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have TC-2000. This movie is kind of like a RoboCop ripoff, except not really, because it doesn't focus on the RoboCop character. But it's, again, in the future, where crime has come over. Something happened where the ozone layer's gone, and the solar rays are just beating down on the Earth. So the human race has retreated underground to their only safe place. And so they have these officers who are just going out and trying to protect their home areas, their little underground compounds, from the people who are outside and have kind of mutated and stuff. And it's so much fun. It's got Billy Blanks in it. He does a fantastic job with his lead role. And the fight scenes are fantastic. The TC-2000 is nice. The character is nice. But she's not the main character of the movie. She's the title character, but not the main character. That doesn't make much sense. But oh well, moving on. This is a fun movie to watch. It's so entertaining. It's got a great idea. It's a fun, interesting concept, and it was very well done. The only thing they could have done to improve this movie is have the TC-2000 character play a bigger role in the movie. But otherwise, it was fantastic, and that's why TC-2000 comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, we have The Colony. This movie is about this world where it's a post-nuclear winter, and there's just snow and barrenness and winter everywhere as far as the eye can see. People are in these little underground compounds, not really underground, but just secure military compounds. They used to be used for military purposes, and now they just turned them into the basically a town. This little compound is now a town. They're overpopulated. They're trying to get in touch with other compounds, other people. Well, they call them colonies. They're trying to get in touch with other colonies, and they get a distress call from this colony. So they go out to the other colony, and oh my God, they've been attacked by this feral creature, human people. So the ferals are coming after them and chasing them. They're going back to their home colony. Oh, thank God, we lost them, we lost them. And then the ferals just attack their colony, and it's just murder and mayhem and chaos, and just people dying left and right and getting slashed apart. It is fantastic. It's such an entertaining movie. It's such a fun movie. It's a great concept, and it is so enjoyable. I really, really enjoyed this movie, and that is why The Colony comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, we have Cold Harvest. This is a fun movie starring Gary Daniels, in which he plays twins. And you've got these people, the world has been overtaken by this virus that's just destroying everybody and killing countless people and just wiping out humanity. But there are some people who are immune to the virus, and they're just trying to find a cure by studying these people who are immune. Well, this woman's husband is one of the ones who's immune, but he gets killed, and she's pregnant with his kid. So she finds his brother, his twin brother, and they try to fight their way back to the area where all the immune stuff is and where they're trying to study and find the cure. It's so exciting. It's so much fun because the brother guy, is a mercenary. He's a bounty hunter. He's a guy who kills people for money, and he's the hero of the movie. He's like your quintessential anti-hero. It's so much fun. It's so entertaining. And it's got Gary Daniels as the anti-hero guy, and his fight scenes are just spectacular. He is amazing in action scenes. He did a fantastic job with this, and that is why Cold Harvest comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have Hell Comes to Frogtown. This movie is about a guy named Hell, and he goes to Frogtown. Do you need anything else to explain to you about the plot? Yes? Okay. Well, basically, this is in a dystopian future where everyone is pretty much sterile. It is very hard to find women who are fertile and men who are fertile. So basically, the government has been overtaken by women. They control the government, and they find guys who are fertile and kidnap them and send them out to impregnate women because they have to keep the species going alive. They have to keep it, they have to perpetuate the species. Well, a lot of fertile women have been kidnapped and are being held in Frogtown, so they get this guy, Hell, who is fertile, who can reproduce, and they send him to go get the fertile women so he can sleep with them and have babies. That's the plot of this movie. It's about a guy who's being forced to have sex, but he doesn't really want to. He just wants to be free and live his life as he can. It's fantastic. It's such an entertaining movie. It's a cult classic for a reason. It's got Roddy Piper in the lead role. Yes, the special effects are dated and the blood looks like orange paint for some reason, but it's still a fun and entertaining movie, and that's why Hell Comes to Frogtown comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have Death Race 2. In my opinion, the best movie out of the entire Death Race trilogy. I think there's only 3 of them. The one from the 70s and the remake don't count. This movie is so much fun. It's so entertaining. It's kind of a dystopian future, but the prisons have been privatized, and they just try to make a profit off of it. It's so much fun. It's the origin story of the character of Frankenstein, which is just fantastic. They did a wonderful job with this movie. It's so entertaining. The action keeps you on the edge of your seat. Yeah, some of the races are repetitive, but they are racing in a prison. So yes, they're racing over the same track multiple times. So the races are going to feel repetitive and going to feel like they're the same. It's the same course that comes with the kind of territory. But this movie is so much fun. It's so entertaining. The ending kind of leaves on a bad note, but the rest of the movie is glorious. And that's why Death Race 2 comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Turbo Kid. This is a love letter of a movie. It's a love letter to those post-apocalyptic future movies from the 80s and 90s. I mean, this movie was made just a few years ago, but it's so glorious. It's so entertaining, and it's obviously a love letter to these older movies, and they just nailed it. It's beautiful. It's about this kid who finds this power gauntlet and becomes a superhero in this post-apocalyptic wasteland. It's so much fun. It's so entertaining. This is easily one of the most entertaining movies I've ever seen. I love it, and it is a beautiful love letter and homage to these other dystopian future movies that have been made in the past. It's glorious, it's fantastic, and the fact that they use bicycles instead of cars because they have to have some sort of transportation device. Gasoline is scarce, so they're using bicycles. It makes so much sense. It's perfect. It's beautiful. This Turbo Kid is a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic, absolutely amazing and glorious movie. And that's why Turbo Kid comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have Jungleground, another fantastic movie where they kind of use the whole crime-free area thing, where this one part of town has become known as Jungle Ground. It's just this haven for crime and criminals where the police just don't want to go because the gangs have taken it over and they're just doing whatever they want and just committing all these crimes that they want and just going hog wild with crime and stuff. Occasionally they venture out into the main part of the city, but that's only when someone comes into their area and pisses them off. For the most part, they keep the crime in their part of town, in the Jungle Ground as it's called. But yet, one of the cops goes in there and messes things up. So they kidnap him and his wife, and they make him run a gauntlet. It's got Roddy Piper in it. He does a fantastic job. The fight scenes are beautiful. The sets are gorgeous. The acting in this is just outstanding. This is a fantastic, wonderful, and glorious movie. If you have not seen Jungle Ground, you have to. It is imperative. You must see this movie. And that is why Jungle Ground comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have Escape from New York. A fun, entertaining movie. The birth of Snake Plissken, who is an icon of action movies. Yeah, I realize I just said iconic icon, but that's not the point. This movie is fantastic. It's glorious. You know what this movie's about. I don't have to tell you, but I will anyway. New York, Manhattan Island has been turned into a prison where they just send all the bad guys, all the refuse, all the people they don't want from the rest of the world, from the rest of the United States, and they send them to Manhattan Island because that is now a prison. But they can do whatever they want there. They can shoot each other, stab each other, kill, rape, murder, whatever the hell they want to do in Manhattan Island. Free pass. Do what you want. But you can't come back to the rest of the U.S. You have to stay there. It is fantastic. But the president's gone there. The president's plane got shot down or something. He ejected from Air Force One, and his escape pod landed in Manhattan Island. So they have to get him out of there. So they recruit Snake Plissken, who's played by Kurt Russell, as everybody knows. And they send him in there to get the president and get him out and try to escape from New York. This is a fantastic movie. It's a glorious movie. Chances are, if you're watching this channel, you've seen this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, there's something seriously wrong with you, and you have to watch this movie. It is imperative. It is required by law. You have to watch Escape from New York, and that's why it comes in at number 2. My number 1 dystopian future movie? Soldier, starring Kurt Russell. This is a fantastic movie. It's an underrated gem. This is a glorious movie about these people who are like who are taken at birth and raised to be the perfect soldiers, and they're going out fighting their wars, fighting for their country's freedom and all this stuff, but then they get replaced by some genetically engineered superior soldiers. So they take their top soldier who died during the training session, and they just discard him at some other planet. But guess what? He's not actually dead. He's really still alive, and he's coming back, and he's making his own life on this planet now. But then the military people come by to the planet like, look, there's life on this planet, but there's not supposed to be. Everyone here is a criminal. We must kill them. So now it's Kurt Russell's soldier guy versus all of those genetically enhanced, genetically created soldiers who were built and bred for the sole purpose of fighting war. It's one man versus an army. Who's gonna win? Watch the movie and find out. It is glorious. It is fantastic. A lot of people complain that Kurt Russell only has like 100 words that he says in the entire movie. But it makes sense if you watch the movie, if you understand the plot, and that in this world, soldiers don't speak unless they're spoken to by a superior officer. It makes sense that he's hardly going to talk because for most of the movie, he's not around any superior officers. It makes sense plot-wise. This is a fantastic movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I can easily sit down and watch it over and over and over again, even during the same day. I can watch this movie multiple times a day and not get sick of it, and that is why Soldier comes in at number 1. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel for new action movie reviews posted every week and top 10 lists posted on the 10th of every month. Also, if you have any recommendations for things you would like me to cover in the future, please leave them in the comments below and follow us on Twitter at explosions_TV. Thank you and have a nice day.